What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and today is all about the OnePlus 12. Yes, I'm going to tell you all about the hardware, the software, and my experience using this phone on and off with my SIM card inside for the past 2 or 3 weeks. I am going to tell you why you should absolutely consider the OnePlus 12 and how I believe it's one of the best value for money phones of 2024. I'm going to make sure I'm as honest as possible, as I always will be, and hopefully by the end I've answered all your questions about this quite fantastic device. Now, like any average dad full review, there are 5 categories with 5 points available in each category. We go build quality, design, software, cameras, and price. That's the 5 main categories with a few other bits sprinkled throughout the review. The first place I want to start with the OnePlus 12 is the design. A unique design, in my opinion. It hasn't gone for the, I say unique compared to all other smartphones, not unique compared to the OnePlus 11. But the OnePlus 12 has the circle camera hump, however, integrated into the build of the frame and to the left hand side. It's not centered like the Oppo Find X7 Ultra, and I have to say, I like it. In the black variant, it does very much look a bit like an oven, a cooker hob stove. But on this green variant, I think it pops quite well. The contrast of that kind of marble, emerald green with the gloss of the camera bump, I like it. Now, as far as other aspects of the design, this is obviously a curved frame. There's no getting around it. However, very hard to notice on camera, but I can tell you feeling it in the hand, in between the curve of the screen and the back glass, there is actually like a millimetre or 2 of flat edges, which actually make a big difference. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the best designed phone. I do believe that the X7 Ultra looked better in my opinion. I love the look of that device, especially in that two-tone black with like the gunmetal grey. But the OnePlus 12 is a solid designed phone with nothing much to complain about. If you want to go, as mentioned, a bit more bland, you can get the black. I've gone for the green, and I like it. Now, because it's not breaking any walls down, it's not smashing through any barriers when it comes to design, I've given this a 3 out of 5. A solid score for a well-designed phone. Now, as far as build quality, it's your typical candy bar style phone. It's large 6.8 inch display. It's protected with Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front. The rear is also glass, Gorilla Glass Victus 5. To be honest, I would imagine 75 to 90% of people pop a case on their phone anyway, but it does have that Gorilla Glass protection on the rear as well. Now, the frame is aluminium or aluminum, all round, no fancy posh like armor aluminium. It's just your standard aluminium frame, and yeah, build quality is fine. One thing the phone doesn't have is full IP68 water and dust resistance. It's gone for IP65, which essentially means don't go swimming with the phone, but if you did find yourself to drop it in a swimming pool and you quickly retrieved it, your phone's going to be absolutely fine. The one thing I will say though, is this is the first display that I know of to have the aqua protection, and it ain't a gimmick. I live in Scotland and it rains a lot. And I have noticed that using this device in the rain with water droplets on the display, it doesn't impact as much as any other device when it comes to the touch response. You can use your fingerprint, you can swipe, you can long press. Everything you would do on a dry display actually works. So the aqua protection isn't a gimmick from OnePlus, and I'm hoping that other manufacturers do this, because we've all been there. You're using your phone outside, it starts to rain, and all of a sudden random apps start opening, it won't type properly. No issues with that in the OnePlus. So yes, it's not got 6.8 water and dust resistance, but it is splash proof, dust proof, and it does have that aqua cover display. Now, I mentioned already it's a 6.8-inch display, so it is a large candy bar phone, but because of the curved back and glass on the front, it feels really ergonomic in the hand. Does it feel as premium as the iPhone or the S24 Ultra? No, not in my opinion. The 15 Pro Max and the S24 Ultra are probably the two most premium feeling phones out there today. And weighing in at 220 grams, it's there or thereabouts with all your other large flagship candy bar phones. Now, this is where, before I give it a score for build quality, I want to talk about a hardware feature that is almost exclusive to the OnePlus in this category of large candy bar flagship. And it's a slider. Yes, I know you're going to say the Oppo, and that's fine, but it's not global, and the slider isn't exactly the same because it puts you into a VIP mode. On the OnePlus, you've got your typical 3-stage slider: ring, vibrate, silent. On the S24 Ultra, you have the S Pen. Now, hear me out here. Be honest with yourself. If you've got the S24 Ultra, how many times a day do you use the S Pen? Probably 0. How many times a week do you use the S Pen? We'll say once or twice. Maybe for some people more, maybe for some people you never remove the S Pen. The one thing I will say, and I am not making this up, I actually prefer the slider to the S Pen because I use the slider at least twice a day. That's when I wake up, it goes from silent to ring. And when I go to bed, it goes from ring to silent. And throughout the day, depending if I'm in a meeting, I might pop it on vibrate. It is so convenient to just be able to slide your thumb up to the top of the phone and choose your setting. You don't even have to look. Because another reason that the OnePlus 12 stands out is the haptics. Now, MKBHD has mentioned this. I've not seen the full teardown, if it exists yet, from Jerry. Rig everything. But the haptics in here just hit differently to every other device. It feels so like 3D and immersive. Every tap, a back tap, message, notification, phone calls, everything that goes through the haptics just feels fantastic. Same with using that slider, the 3 stages. You know when you're on vibrate and ring, and you know when you're on silent because there's no haptic. So all in all, with the slider and the haptics and the overall build quality, I am going to give the OnePlus 12 a 3.5. It would have got a 4 if it had IP68 water and dust resistance, and it would have got even more if it wasn't so curved on the front and back. While it is really ergonomic, I personally feel like the strength, durability, and toughness is improved when you have the thicker frame and edges like on the S24 Ultra and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, you can say what you like about Oxygen OS just being the same as ColorOS. For me, that is not a bad thing. ColorOS was always one of my favourite skins until more recent times. Obviously, Samsung's One UI, and now HyperOS from Xiaomi is really good as well. If you haven't used that, I'd recommend trying it. It's a really good Android skin. But ColorOS is probably your number 3. It's solid. What I like about Oxygen OS, which comes in the OnePlus, is it's incorporated a few different things. The first one being it's a global skin, so you get the Google feed to the left. But when you swipe down anywhere on the screen, it brings up your widgets panel. And some of these are really just cool to have from a swipe down, like your step counter, like your alarms, your photos, your music controls, all the usual things you get in a widget screen, like on the iPhone when you swipe left, but they're just a bit more accessible on the OnePlus. And it's fully customizable, and you can move the widgets around and do all that stuff like you can on other phones. If you don't want to use that, then you can just move to a typical swipe down for notifications, but I've kept it to swipe down for this widgets/cards panel. As far as everything else on the device, Oxygen OS is stock Android, but with much more customization when it comes to wallpapers, lock screens, always on display, fonts, all that good stuff. And on a side note, this is available on all Android devices. If you haven't already checked this out, please download the Zedge app. Not a sponsor, but I use Zedge for all my alerts, alarm sounds, ring sounds, wallpapers. People are asking on my V2 where I got the video of the live poker in flames, the poker card in flames. It came from Zedge. So I'd highly recommend using that if you want to customize your phone. Other internals wise, Bluetooth 5.4, UFS 4.0 storage, DDR5X RAM, USB-C 3.2, so that's the latest generation with display out. This phone is a beast. Now, speaking of Bluetooth connectivity, if you are in the market for a new set of wireless earbuds, please check out the Soundpeats Air4 Pro. And thank you for sponsoring this segment of the video. Now, these earbuds come with Snapdragon Sound aptX lossless audio. They connect seamlessly with any Android or iOS device, and they sound pretty damn fantastic. Now, each bud has a 13mm dynamic driver for fully immersive sound. There's active noise cancellation and triple mics on each bud for even better noise cancellation. And with these, there's full Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity, which means you can get multi-point connection, and it will detect when this is in your ear or out for pause or play. And if you're a gamer or want to consume content, you need to bother about latency. Some earbuds can have quite a long latency period, so that means you're going to see what they're saying before you actually hear what they're saying. With these, 8 to 8 milliseconds. Which is extremely low latency, which means if you're gaming or consuming content, there'll be none of that looking like a foreign dubbed movie. And as far as battery life, you can get up to 26 hours of playback time from these buds. So you can pick these up on Amazon, the link is in the description. And for Average Dad viewers, you can get 30% off using this code. Now, the discount code itself is going to run until the 29th of February, so you've got about 10 days to use it, folks. So massive thanks again to Soundpeats for sponsoring this section of the video. Let's get back to the OnePlus 12. Now, because we're talking about software and internals, at this point I want to bring up battery life. I'm going to score the software a 3.5, and battery life doesn't have its own category, but I am going to dedicate some time to it. The OnePlus 12 has now been proven to have a tiny bit battery life than the Samsung S24 Ultra, which a lot of people were saying is the best Samsung battery they've ever seen. And it is. At just under 10 hours of screen on time, that's YouTube watching, gaming, cameras, all the stuff. If you want to see the full battery comparison, check out Technic's channel. I'll link it in the description. He just posted a video. I love those battery drain tests. Never could I be bothered making my own ones. So I'll take his results. And in third place was the OnePlus 12, just beating the S24 Ultra. Now, there's no surprises that number one was the iPhone 15 Pro Max. However, what did surprise me was the new kid on the block, the Vivo X100 Pro. No, Vivo aren't new, but that Dimensity chipset, I've never known it to finish top 3 or top 5 in any battery drain test. So Dimensity are clearly doing something great here. So if I was scoring battery and battery life and capacity and all that stuff with its 100-watt charger included in the box and its 50 watts wireless charger, and I did buy the 50-watt SuperVOOC OnePlus charger for this device, I'd have to give it a 4 out of 5. The Vivo would probably be a 4.5, and the iPhone, well actually no, the Vivo would probably be a 5 out of 5. I couldn't give the iPhone 5 out of 5 for battery as a whole because the wireless and wire charging is way too slow. Now the penultimate category, cameras. I've made a camera comparison video. I've done a camera test on the OnePlus 12. I'm not going to bore you with this category too long. I am going to summarize the cameras to say that they are extremely solid performing cameras. They're 50 megapixels all throughout. There's a 4K front-facing selfie camera. There's a 3 times optical that will go 6 times lossless to 12 megapixel with a crop. Essentially the same cameras lifted and shifted from the OnePlus Open, which performed really well, came number 4 in all smartphones for a blind comparison test ran by MKBHD. These cameras are great. The main sensor actually is a bit upgraded compared to the OnePlus Open. Colours are spot on in my partially sighted opinion. Between all lenses, colours stay the same. There's not too much of a difference. Zooming in, it will go to 100 times zoom or 120 times zoom. I wouldn't recommend that. But anything up to 30 times zoom looks great. Video stabilization is good. It's 4K in all the lenses. I believe it even does 8K at 24 frames per second. It's a solid performing device. I've enjoyed using the cameras. Do I put it above the S24 Ultra or the X7 Ultra or the 15 Pro Max? No, I don't. I think this, and we'll get to price, but I think these cameras are exactly where they should be for the price that you're paying. If not, even better for what the price you're paying with deals. So all in all, you've seen some samples. I'm going to score the cameras a 3 out of 5 here. I'm excited for the next couple of months because we are going to get the new Vivo X Fold 3 Pro. We're also going to get the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. I believe the Xiaomi 14 Ultra will be the next benchmark for cameras. Right now, I'm still sticking to my guns and saying the S24 Ultra is the benchmark for cameras just now as a full camera setup. Roast me in the comments. I know you're going to say the Vivo or the Oppo X7 Ultra, but I think the S24 Ultra. So, final category, we're at 13.5 points. It's price. And a spoiler, the OnePlus is going to score quite well in this category. The reason being, even without deals, the OnePlus 12 is £900. The OnePlus 12, in my opinion, is a direct competitor to the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Both Android devices, both 6.8-inch screens, both have really good cameras, similar designs. Yes, there's a visor and a Pixel, but as far as that kind of rounded edges, I just think the OnePlus 12 is a much better deal, even at full retail without free gifts. But because it's OnePlus, you're going to struggle to find a period in time where there's ever a point where you're going to have to pay full retail and not get a free gift. As I stand here right now, I believe there's £50 off the 0.5 terabyte version, and that's another thing. The Google Pixel 8 Pro, I believe, does it even go to 0.5 terabyte? It's £1,100 for the 256 gigabyte. But for the OnePlus 12, 512 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes of RAM, £800 on the OnePlus website. And right now, you're still getting OnePlus Buds Pro 2 worth £180 retail. That's a bargain, folks. No, this phone isn't the best looking. It isn't the best built. It doesn't have the best cameras. But I talked about my phone of the year last year, and the reason why the OnePlus was my favourite foldable is because it's consistent in all areas. The least this phone has scored is a 3, and with price, for me, being 4 out of 5, the highest is a 4. So anywhere between 3 and 4 for each category makes this a super consistent and worthwhile phone for anybody looking to upgrade from a 2 or 3 year old Android device. Or maybe you want to switch from your iPhone and you want to pick up an Android. The OnePlus 12 would be a really good first Android device for a lot of people. So, with all the scores added together, the OnePlus 12 scores a very respectable 17.5. Now, if you look back, the Oppo Find X7 Ultra and the Samsung S24 Ultra scored about 4 points more than that in total. But please keep in mind, the Samsung is a £1,250 device. The Oppo isn't available in Europe, UK or US, so you're going to have to import that, which comes with its own issues. For a global Android device priced at about £800, there isn't much better than it. The one thing I would say is the Nubia Z60 Ultra, which I am selling for an insane £500. It's £750 retail. It's only a month old. But for £750, this is a good comparator for the OnePlus 12. I would argue the cameras on this are comparable to the OnePlus 12. I would say the display on this is just behind the OnePlus because of the Pro XDR display that the OnePlus has. However, that's an uninterrupted display on the Z60 Ultra. We're being spoilt for phones in 2024 so far. It feels like every video I've made recently has been, this phone's amazing, brilliant. Although I did talk about the Honor V2 RSR and that phone is not amazing. So again, I'm only being honest with all these videos. So hopefully you've enjoyed this full review of the OnePlus 12. Using it day to day has been a pleasure. It's a really solid, nice looking and feeling device. If you've enjoyed this video, smash subscribe. Get me to 20,000 subscribers. I know, believe it or not, I'm nowhere near that yet. A channel as good as this. But in all seriousness, I really appreciate the support. Smash like, and until next time,